Last House on the Left from 1972 was one of the most graphic, disturbing horror films of its time. Before Texas Chainsaw Massacre and not too long after Night of the Living Dead, it was the product of two horror minds, Wes Craven and Sean Cunningham. They first worked together on a film called Together and formed a team. Afterwards, a studio gave them a budget of about $90,000 to make a horror film. Craven wrote and directed while Cunningham produced. It's interesting to see, even if just for the fact that it's where these two careers got started, who eventually brought us such iconic horror villains as Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. The film went through many name changes, including Krug & Company, The Men's Room, which are some of the worst titles I've ever heard, and then there was Sex Crime of the Century, which could have worked. It had the great tagline, "To avoid feigning, keep repeating it's only a movie," although the tagline was already used in William Castle's Strait Jacket and Herschel Gordon Lewis's Color Me Blood Red.
You must keep reminding yourself, it's just a movie. It's just a movie.
The plot is about as grisly and realistic as it can get. Two girls are on their way to a concert. They frolic through the woods, all happy and at peace. They try to buy some marijuana from a stranger, and next thing, all of a sudden, they're locked in a house with a bunch of psychopaths where they're tortured and raped. The following morning, they're thrown into the trunk of a car and are taken out into the woods where they are tortured and raped even more. It's absolutely horrible, a true horror film by definition. The low-budget look gives it a very authentic appearance, almost like watching found footage. It's so disturbing that the film was censored and even banned, particularly in the UK, and many different edits exist to this day. The characters are all very convincing. They aren't as over-the-top as some other horror movie psychopaths. They can compose themselves and act normal when they want to, which makes them more terrifying because they're fully aware of what they're doing. I think the most memorable character is Junior, who slightly resembles Larry Fine. Even though he's part of the criminal gang and is even the one who got the girls in that predicament, he seems more innocent, like he doesn't belong, and has some kind of hope of redemption. He's almost likable and even funny.
Ribbit.
In contrast with the unsettling nature of the film is the silly music, which doesn't fit at all.
Feeling the world so closing on you.
I don't know why this type of music was chosen, and it's not some stock music that they bought. Someone actually composed this specifically for the film. It's my hunch that they were trying to be ironic and going for some kind of dark comedy because it keeps cutting back to these two police officers who are as useless as tits on a bull.
You're out of gas, you idiot!
They play the parts in a slapstick humor type of way. This is not the kind of movie that should have had comedy relief. It's not like the police officers affect the plot at all. They're just a side tangent and never cross over with the main events until the very last second when it's all over anyway. Isn't that what always happens? There's a part where the criminals all show up at the house of one of the girls they were torturing, and the parents unknowingly let them spend the night. It happens out of nowhere, but there's something about seeing them all sleeping in one of their victims' beds that sticks with me. Whether it's dark comedy or not, there's something there, an opportunity that didn't really reach its full potential. I don't want to give away everything that happens, but somewhere toward the end, the plot takes a 90-degree turn, which could have been written much better. Still, Last House on the Left succeeds in what it set out to do. It's one of the most effectively gruesome films of its time, and I'd say it's one of the essential horror films from the 70s. Wood panel walls, two-prong electrical outlets, how much more 70s can you get?